welcome everyone. Sir Heroscape here today. For those of you joining me, I know it's a little bit late. I'm sure you've heard the news. Regardless, welcome. Heroscape is back. So round 2, let's go. Again is the big question mark, right? We had some news drop earlier this afternoon that Heroscape is back. Now, we've heard this before. It was on the Heroscapers page, right? We heard it from Avalon Hill. They did an official announcement with a trailer. They had kind of a whole design team and members of the community. It was behind closed doors. They'd been working on it for a year, and people didn't really know what was going on, at least the public, right? Avalon Hill failed with Age of Annihilation, and that was back November of last year. So here we are, fast forward, 7 months later, and I gotta put it to him. I am impressed that this was such a quick turnaround. When I say quick, obviously I would have preferred like 3 months, but we're talking business here, right? So it takes a while to kind of sign contracts, get things situated. And that's what it looks like has happened. Avalon Hill is not, from what I know and what we can see, not the one actually running it or participating, but the licensing has been outsourced to another game company. So let's jump in, read the announcement first of all, for those of you that haven't heard it, and we'll dig into a little bit. Excuse me. And then let's go ahead and talk about it. Ben, sorry, Discord invite not working. Okay, give me a second here. Let me, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Let me get a new link and post that there. I think I created the link and did not make it long term or whatever the question is, or like you can establish how long you want the link to be active for, I believe. Yeah, let's see. Actually, I don't look, because it's not my server. I don't think I have the option to use copy button. Yeah. Okay, so I'll post another link. Here we go in the chat. See, Discord server for Renegade games. Thanks for your patience. See if that one works. Hopefully that link works, the one that I just posted. If not, let me know. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Reading the announcement here. Sorry, as soon as I get it up. Did it not? Sorry, technical difficulties. Alright. So, Renegade Games Studios. Here we are at their website. Here's the announcement. We're going to zoom in here a little bit. Oh, yay, antivirus. Renegade Game Studios welcomes Heroscape, expanding licensing partnership with Hasbro. Literally posted today. Okay, again, if you didn't see this earlier today, this is where you're getting your information. If you've seen this already, great. We're going to talk about it. So, Renegade to bring Heroscape back to the table. San Diego, California, June 8th. Renegade Game Studios is excited to announce that they are finalizing expansion of their licensing relationship with Hasbro, a global leader in play, to produce the best-selling Heroscape tabletop game. Now, right there, let's pause. Let's be excited, but cautious. Here's why. Announced that they are finalizing expansion of their licensing relationship with Hasbro. Technically, that means it's not final. I've been involved in lots of contracts with my work. There's a lot of back and forth. There is a point at which you basically, say, hey, we're doing this. Just depends on a few details, that might be still going back and forth before the deal is closed. But there's a kind of a point of no return. I don't know if that means that they've gotten to that point, or if this is truly like, hey, we're doing this, but it might not happen. Based off of what they've said so far today, it sounds like it is 100% happening, so maybe just not the best choice of words in saying that they're finalizing licensing. I would have preferred they say licensing is here. Anyway, originally proposed to relaunch in October 22 by Avalon Hill on Hasbro Pulse's crowdfunding platform, HasLab, fans shared an outpouring of support for the game's revival. We did, absolutely. Now the organizations have come together to usher in long-awaited return of Heroscape for the hobby, mass, and specialty markets. Okay, so actually I think I'm mistaken. I think I skimmed over this. I originally said Avalon Hill is not participating, but it's... Oh, no, maybe it's referring to HasLab. Let's see. Hasbro's Pulse crowdfunding plan, HasLab fans... Now the organizations have come together. Okay, so I think this is referring to HasLab. It's saying the organizations have come together to usher in the long-awaited return of Heroscape. So I'm actually not 100% sure on if that's referring to Avalon Hill or HasLab. I want to say that's HasLab, but HasLab is where Heroscape went to die and fail. So I'm not sure exactly what HasLab has to do with this, other than maybe it's the platform where, like, yeah, maybe it's the platform they're using to where you can make the purchase, I guess. I'm not sure. So that's a question mark. But it seems like it's a joint effort between either HasLab and Renegade Games or Avalon Hill and Renegade Games. Alright, so Legend Along the Way, Heroscape Hobby Mask. Hey, Renegade will also partner with Hasbro Pulse to make Heroscape available to a wide an audience as possible. So this is referring to Hasbro Pulse, which indicates HasLab. I still am not sure if the Avalon Hill's involved in that. So, interesting. Okay, so it is a partnership in some form. Not exactly sure what that means. It's possible Renegade Games is entirely in control of the licensing in terms of content, but maybe Hasbro Pulse, does the marketing or distribution or the actual selling on the HasLab. I'm not sure. Dark Master, they just want to create another scam. That's why they put it on HasLab. We're going to get to that in a minute. There are some indications that there's some good stuff going on. Like, this is the announcement, but I've been keeping in touch with some of the, I've been keeping updated on some of the comments from the Renegade Games team today in their Discord. We don't have to worry about this being a crowdfunding campaign. I'll say that, and we're going to show you some comments about that. So we're good on that front. Fans will get to experience classic elements of the game they love with all new content. Okay, so classic elements as well as all new content alongside the introduction of terrain packs. Woohoo! That's what we're talking about. Faction boxes and more. Going forward, Renegade hopes to introduce new models in a variety of configurations and price points for both new and hardcore Heroscape players. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. So, first of all, we have terrain packs, faction boxes. They were kind of doing faction boxes for Age of Annihilation, but they weren't doing terrain packs. This is huge. This is one of the things that I think was a massive mistake in both the original Heroscape and in Age of Annihilation. Terrain packs go across all games, not just Heroscape. And to be honest, you kind of have to accept the fact that you're going to be selling to a lot of non-Heroscape players if you go that route. And that's, I think, a good thing, because it's just more exposure to the game. And it's more money, right? You're trying to make money. So terrain packs are huge because D&D players use it when they use the hex base instead of the square base. I know buddies that do that. Lots of games are actually hex based. The biggest of which is BattleTech. For those of you out there that are involved in BattleTech or know in the gaming space the BattleTech influence, they literally, first of all, it's a huge community, tons of money into that, big, massive following. But they also just had a Kickstarter, literally a couple months ago, that hits over 7 million. That's massive for gaming. Massive for gaming. And, people were dropping mad cash on that Kickstarter. So, and that comes with a flatline playmat, hex-based playmat. If you go to Gen Con, I was in Gen Con at 2017, massive boards that they use for for BattleTech, and they just build it with Heroscape terrain. Because why wouldn't you, right? The terrain's amazing. It's so modular. You can build some really cool stuff. BattleTech's a war game, just like Heroscape. It's hex-based. And so that community absolutely would want terrain packs, to purchase and to use for themselves. Okay, a couple comments. Ben, Hasbro might have screwed it up, but it was no scam. Yes, I agree. This is not a scam. Dark Master, it was absolutely a scam. This is Hasbro. They haven't easily not asked for crowdfunding to bring Heroscape back. Yeah, we all have our opinions. Ben, the product was real. There was value for money. The problem was marketing. The product was absolutely real and 100% quality. Not a scam, just terrible marketing. Yeah, so for those of you that are listening and on the chat, Ben Harris, he knows what he's talking about because he was one of the lead team designers on the Age of Annihilation product. And, I've talked to him personally. I did an interview with him, right? He's a very respected member of the Heroscape community. So that's why I trust everything he says, right? I mean, original Age of Annihilation, lots of mistakes made, but it wasn't a cash grab. It wasn't a scam. It was, obviously, like, we've covered this before. So, anyway, backing you up, Ben. Appreciate it. So, on to the continued current state of things. Faction boxes and more, right? So, going forward, they hope to introduce new models. Okay, now, this is important for those of you out there that are listening. In a variety of configurations and price points for both new and hardcore Heroscape players. So that, to me, says a few different things. And I think I might have a screenshot, or maybe it was, I think it was Boromir on the Discord earlier today, or probably a few other people as well, that said that actually might indicate, and very likely indicates, what we had. A lot of members had issues when the Age of Annihilation first came out, was unpainted, right? You had a lot of people that said, I'll pay any price point, just get me painted figures, because that's what Heroscape is. It's the ability to open a box and play a game. I don't have to paint it. I don't have to know how to do that. I don't have to assemble. I don't have to know how to do that. I can just open a box and play. And we're in a time when, even though painting is very, I guess, a part of the hobby of miniature gaming, there's still lots of games that have pre-painted miniatures. So even if there's a different price point, there's lots of people that are still going to pay. And the truth is, if you have a variety of options, it's going to make it available to anyone who wants to do it. So, for example, if I've got people who are, have a little bit more money, willing to spend money, they're just going to, buy the game unpainted or pre-painted and go to work and play their game when they get home and be fine. You're going to have a lot of people that it's a hobby for them, want to save a buck or two, and so they buy unpainted, right? And I think that's what this is referring to. Obviously, we're going to get some confirmation on what that means later on, but this is very hopeful because it's giving us, it's coming to where we're at, right? Hardcore Heroscape players, maybe they can paint their own stuff, or maybe they're stuck in their shoes and they want a pre-painted mini. Okay, they can have either. With new players, maybe it's a pre-painted mini because they don't know how to paint, right? So anyway, let's move on. Heroscape brought a lot of people into hobby gaming, and to this day, there's a robust and passionate community. We look forward to growing that community and continuing to offer new and exciting models for gamers to enjoy, said Scott Gata, president and publisher of Renegade Game Studios. Well, that's pretty great. I mean, if you're releasing something new, you kind of have to have the top dog give a quote and say they're excited about it. But regardless, that's still amazing to hear, right? That the president and publisher of Renegade Games is saying, "Hey, there's a community. We saw this. We saw there was a community during Age of Annihilation. Let's go ahead and do this thing." I mean, that's amazing. Additionally, we will be partnering with hobby stores. Okay, I'll finish reading this. This is amazing. Additionally, we will be partnering with hobby stores to give Heroscape and its community of players the best home possible, where they can make new friends and engage in exciting battles across Valhalla. Let's go. So, that was another massive mistake in Age of Annihilation. There was no game store option, right? You had game store owners that just couldn't buy in, right? at the $250 a pop price, they couldn't buy 20 of them, get a discount, and sell them at a reasonable price at retail. So this is huge, right? This is huge because, yeah. So Mark indicating already announcing game store partnership. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. It's very possible they've already communicated with some big game stores out there, or local game stores, whatever the case is. Here's my thought. It seems like they also may not do big box retailers based off of what they're saying here. Now they may, but it was always a little bit weird that Heroscape showed up in the toys section of Walmart and Toys R Us, right? Isn't that a little odd, right? That it was marketed as a kid's toy, when in truth it really wasn't. Or rather, as time went on, it was discovered, it became more evident that it wasn't a toy, a kid's toy, right? So I think they're leaning into that a bit, is they're realizing we can't compete with a Walmart shelf, right? Walmart's very competitive for shelf space. So we can't just go to straight retail and dump a bunch of product on a shelf because that's too competitive. It's not going to get us our money, because they do have to make money. It's a business. But that's like, well, yeah. So Ben commented it started as a family game. You're absolutely right. So yes, I guess it makes sense that it started in a toy section. Later on, we realized it didn't really belong there. But good, to your point, that's fair. But what they're doing now is they're leaning into the fact that it's no longer just a family game, right? Now, Heroscape's still a family game. Everyone plays it with their kids. I do. It's a lot of fun. You can still, play it very simple for those kids. But it's become much more competitive. It's become much more like a war game that you would expect with other games. And so what you have, I think, them recognizing that and saying, hey, we're going to go right to the game stores. We're going to have the game stores partnership with us, so that when you go to your local game store, you can support the game store. It can be on the shelves where the gamers are at, right, where the BattleTech guys, where the other gamers are, and they see it and they're like, oh, I remember Heroscape. Hey, can I buy this? Yeah, it's in production. What? And they, at your local game store where you go every week or month or whatever, you're actually seeing the product where you're going, right? Like, you might not see it walking through Walmart unless you're in the toy section. But if you go to your local game store, you're absolutely going to see it, especially if you have a big sign from the game store owner that says, hey, Heroscape is back, come and get some. You better believe that's going to be flying off the shelves. So, exciting stuff. Really, really good to see that they're committed to that. Additionally, Renegade will provide, oh my gosh, online community and organized play support, including a future world championship. Let's go! What's up? Hobby stores can look forward to organizing play and point purchase support at launch. What? Oh, so hype. So hype. That's insane. You guys, let's think about that for just a second. Okay, let's let that sink in. That's massive. Half of the community don't have locals to play with, and so tons of them play online. I mean, I just started the Champions Circle League online Heroscape League because I was like, well, Age of Annihilation's done. We've got to keep people involved. We've got a lot of excitement. Let's do some online tournaments, and there's a lot of other online tournaments too. That is incredible. That's that. I mean, I don't know how else to read that. I'm pretty sure that means online play. I don't know if that means they're going to build their own online. Excuse me, man, I've got a frog in my throat. You guys got me too excited. I should have had a glass of water. I'm starting to get all dried up, getting all excited. All right, so provide online community and organized play support. Yeah, I mean, there's no other way to read that. Like, that means, I'm pretty sure that means there's going to be an online game engine. Right? Right? Man, that's crazy. Okay, so we can speculate, maybe not. Maybe it's just saying, oh, the online community, kind of like, we're online, right? Heroscapers.com's online, we communicate online, I don't know. But what we do know, I mean, so we could speculate on that. It's not, there's no guarantee they're saying, hey, we're building a Heroscape engine online to play, right? It doesn't say that. So I guess maybe I'm a little bit, in the weeds on that one. But it does say here, organized play support, including a future world championship, which is mind-blown nuts. Every major game has this, right? Every major game has a presence, a convention presence. Mike Schober, God bless his soul, a couple years back, took it upon himself with his dad to create ScapeCon, to keep Heroscape alive, to bring together the community into a place where we can do 5 days of Heroscape nonstop, and have major tournaments with prizes, and kind of a way to competitively keep the game live and interesting, and people motivated that love the game. This is huge, right? This is absolutely huge. And so the fact that they're already committing to competitive play in a future world championship, I'm just like, holy heck, like that's pretty big. I mean, they've come out the gates promising some pretty big stuff. So like I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, I don't know what to expect. Like, I will say, I don't know if Renegade Games holds their own conventions. Some big gaming companies will, outside of like the Gen Cons or like the gaming board conventions, they will actually hold their own conventions. I think I want to say Paizo is one of those. I think Paizo holds their own like Paizo convention or something like that. So it's possible that this would be not like at a Gen Con, but at like a convention that they put on for their own games. The simple response would be they probably would do it at a Gen Con, at least for the first few years, so we could probably expect that. Regardless, that last line is also amazing, because it again says hobby stores can look forward to organized play and point of purchase support at launch. Excuse me. So again, still referencing the partnership with hobby stores, but also hobby stores looking forward to organized play. So that's really interesting. What that says to me is that it's actually going to be there will be tournament organizers, and hobby stores and game owners are actually going to have instructions potentially on how to manage or direct Heroscape tournaments. It won't necessarily be on the fan base anymore. Now, of course, you can create your own local tournaments. I don't think they're going to ban that. I mean, you can't stop people from playing your game however you want to play it, right? So, like, we might still have local games or tournaments on the side for a while, but I think what that tells to me is, how you have your local Pokemon tournaments, or your local gosh, I'm not in the other games. What other games are there? Magic tournaments, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! There we go. Right, you have these other games that have tournaments in the game store, and the reason why the game store manager or the person from the game store actually runs the tournament is typically because it's prize support for that game. Like, typically, like Magic the Gathering, it's like, oh, hey, if you play in this tournament, we're actually giving you free packs, right? So someone has to manage that. They don't want a member of the community to manage that, right? Because there's a bit of a bias there. Now, we've always had a good community. Heroscape community has always been really, honest in my opinion, and great people. But if it's coming back, you start to get a broader audience, right? You start to involve a lot more people, and if you have prize support, right? People, are flawed, right? And so you have to have someone like a game store owner who probably has some sort of official manual or instructions that's actually going to lead the tournaments. So I can see a slight shift potentially in the future in the community on how tournaments are run. No guarantees, right? Obviously, there's nothing here stating any of that, but that's kind of how I read into it, because they're specifically stating hobby stores and organized play. And we know what that kind of means for other games, so I think we can assume a few things here. Okay. So fans have been clamoring for for a revival of Heroscape, and we've heard you. Yes, thank you. It's good to be heard. That's why we are tremendously excited to bring back and expand the beloved brand with the Renegade team, who are big fans themselves. That's actually true. Says Bradley Bowman, licensing director of global toys and sporting goods at Hasbro. Okay, so that's a Hasbro bigwig. We're celebrating this return alongside our fans and look forward to offering exciting players more ways to enjoy the game and introducing a whole new generation to Heroscape and its endless imaginative potential. Now, here's actually something I think is important. It says Heroscapers can sign up for the newsletter to stay informed. Sign up here. I actually did sign up. It's possible I'll get a bunch of crap, but actually no, it's Heroscape News. Okay, so the URL is actually just Heroscape. I thought it was their generic one for a second. No, so you'll just be getting Heroscape News. You won't be getting any of the other random news, it looks like. And then updates, obviously the site there. Okay, and this is just information. Okay, yeah. So on the Discord, they announced this like at noon or something, Central Standard Time. They also posted the Discord. So again, if that Discord link doesn't work, let me know again. But I posted a second Discord link in the chat. Get on there. That's where the conversation's happening. That's where the admins and the members of Renegade Games, or the whoever they are, the lead team or whatever, they're conversing and answering questions. It's possible I missed some because I had work all day today. I had one of the craziest days at work today ever, and I was so mad. I was so mad because I saw this announcement. I'm like so excited, and I literally like saw it on my phone, and I was in a meeting. And I was just like, what am I doing right now? I need to get out of this meeting. It was like an hour-long meeting, and I had to like participate. It wasn't like one of those you can turn off your camera and just kind of sit behind. No, I was just like, man, I got to participate. And I was like, dang. And so my phone's blown up with notifications about everyone talking about it. And so I was just like, oh, man. So anyway, I was able to glean a fair bit of information from the Discord. It's possible I missed more, so let me know if I missed anything. Feel free to chime in on the chat. Obviously, the Facebook page also has had some information there. Don't worry about Heroscapers.com because that's down. Talk about timing, man. Heroscapers.com has been down for a month, and like when it's supposed to be back up, it's still down. Actually, let me look. I'm gonna double check here. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. They said it's still down mid next week. So Heroscapers.com. Bless Zorloff, man. He's had to deal with a bunch of crap from the host server. But yeah, talk about timely. Anyway, all right. So. We've got some some comments to go through, so let's just do some slideshow here. Oops. Let's start from the beginning. Side announcement. Okay. So a couple things to cover here. Battle Bro, I'm excited to see the game return. Nick Medinger. Most of the stuff is from him. He's from the team. I communicated with him personally and talked to him about this. So... had some conversations with him, and this is some great stuff. He says the game 100% is back. No crowdfunding. No maybe, but if only. It's coming. Extra promise. So, Alexandros was a little confused by that. He said no maybe, but only if. That was just a communication basically saying... I think I say it here. Oh, yeah. So, no speculation. No, it's only coming if this happens. It's happening. So, basically, he didn't explain himself exactly right. So, Alexandros was like, what are you saying? Basically, it's 100% back. The way it should have been from Age of Annihilation, right? When Age of Annihilation was announced, we all assumed, hey, it's back. It's great. They've announced it. They said there's a lead team. They said it's coming. Da-da-da-da-da. And then that's not exactly how it worked. It was more like, hey, but you have to make sure to prove that there's enough of you that want to have it back so that we can bring it back. Well, that didn't really work, right? It did, right? I mean, we raised over $1 million for the guys, right? So obviously it worked, and obviously there is a community that wants this. But they're bringing it back 100%. No crowdfunding. Like, that is amazing. We've got a few chats going, so let me just read those really quick and see what you guys are saying. Looks like Renegade is holding a virtual con starting tomorrow. Hopefully more info from that. Excuse me. So that's from Manbot Pig. Good comment. I actually communicated with Nick directly about that. He said that it's likely to be mentioned, but not any additional information beyond what's been said today in the announcement. So do keep that in mind. I won't be watching it because of what he said. I mean, feel free if you want to go ahead and watch it. Absolutely, doesn't hurt. It's possible that they'll say something new. But I mean, because I communicated with him directly about it, I don't think, and I'm sharing it with you now, I don't know that it's necessarily worth, sitting through potentially hours long communication of other games just to try and glean essentially the same information. My guess is they absolutely will announce it, right? They'll share that it's back and they'll say some of the same stuff, but from what he was saying, it doesn't sound like they plan on elaborating any more on what was in the announcement. Okay. Pickle Soup. Thanks for covering this. Super stoked to hear Heroscape is being revived a second time. Is there any knowledge if we'll be seeing anything that was developed during AOA? We're going to get to that here. Short answer, we don't know yet. It's been asked multiple times to Nick and some of the other admins on the Discord, and truth is, I think it's complicated. I mean, because, again, in the announcement, it said we're in partnership with HasLab, but it didn't really say if it was Avalon Hill. Technically, AOA was designed by Avalon Hill, so there might be, some, copyright stuff, right? There might be some weirdness, right, where technically Avalon Hill owns the rights to Age of Annihilation, so we just don't know. Part of me's kind of like, why would you waste a year of design, right? Like, if they're bringing back Heroscape, and you put in all that time and money for a year to prepare Age of Annihilation, why would you waste a year's worth of designs and playtesting, right? I mean, Ben Harris, he's on the chat now. I know he doesn't have any insider information other than from Age of Annihilation, but he was first to say, those designs were ready, right? Other than maybe a tweak in points for a couple of them, the designs were set, in terms of playtesting and balance. So is it possible? I think it's pretty possible. Well, I would say it's very possible. But I think a lot of it just depends on, just legality stuff. It just gets weird, right? It just gets weird. It's kind of the same reason why Age of Annihilation didn't touch Valkyrie. In fact, they kind of removed him from the lore. I think it was the intent. Because with Valkyrie was introduced by, Wizards of the Coast. Now, Wizards of the Coast was really focused on getting D&D crossover into Heroscape, right? You had all D&D expansions. So, again, we don't know, right? It's a little bit weird because, Avalon Hill owns Age of Annihilation, and this is Renegade Games. So, no information on that. Take that what you will. I think it would be foolish to waste a year's worth of designs and money and time. But, I don't know the back end weirdness of that. Okay, good question, good stuff. Let's see. Tiger Dactyl, nice name. I'll remain skeptical after being burned by AOA, but hopefully Renegade Games will be the MCU to Hasbro's Sony and Heroscape is Spider-Man. Let Renegade do their thing, Hasbro gets money, fans win. yeah, I like that. Ben, you said the second Discord link is expired. I apologize. Yeah, I think it's a 5 or 10 minute link, so because I don't own the server, I think the invite link only lasts for a short period of time, and when I looked to copy the link, it didn't tell me how much time I could put on the expiration. I think that's built in to the server, so I apologize, guys. You might have to wing it, or I just don't know where to get the right link, so I apologize. All right. So Ben's just confirming, they were ready to go. Let's see, Tyler Cox. Personally, I'm okay with AOA going into the vault. Didn't feel like Heroscape. To me, minis were too much and stuff, aside from the bears. Bears are bad. yeah. Aquila Blue Dragon and Birds of Paradise carry, please. Yeah. So, AOA, mixed feelings, I think, across the community, right? There's a lot of positives, I wouldn't say a lot of negatives. Negatives more on the marketing side, right? In terms of design, I don't think there were huge issues. I mean, there were some things that I think people rubbed them the wrong way, but I think for the most part, everyone got a little bit of what they wanted. I think regardless of what they design, I'm just again excited we get another chance. I'm trying to stay positive. Trying to stay positive. All right. Let's just move on. Okay, so no speculation. Okay, yeah, we covered that. All right, Zulkara. I had a suggestion for anyone who might listen. One of my favorite parts of the AOA build-up was getting Baldemort involved to voice act Thorman and go over the new lore. That would be amazing if you guys got him back in the project. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm reading that. That wasn't the reference. Oh, no, sorry. Yes, of course it was. What am I doing? I don't even know my own screenshots, apparently. Yeah, so sorry. So the conversation was, he was saying, he was basically just suggesting, hey, team, this was really cool how they did this, right? I totally agree. I think there were some aspects of marketing that were pretty cool, right? The fact that they got Baldemort, a few other, big names, is always good. So that, yes, I agree. I think that's a good suggestion. What Nick is saying in this comment is keep all your wish list, grail hopes, etc. coming. We read it all. And he was actually very clear about that throughout the Discord, throughout the day today. He was basically saying, you guys, we're bought in. This is 100% happening. There's no crowdfunding, right? This is going to hit shelves. So you tell us what you want, kind of thing. And I love that. Again, the fact that they're saying the right things is the first step. Okay, so this is Nick kind of explaining what he says is their MO. Our typical MO in Heroscape is following that pattern, is that we release a starter press release to help generate excitement. I don't know, did it work this time? Then we'll go into details later, firm up contracts. We like working with the established community when there is one, and we knew there was a huge one with Heroscape. So he's kind of explaining their game plan here, right? So, hey, here's the release. Don't have a ton of details. Get the excitement going. Then come back and start providing more detail. So, for example, when we took over Axis and Allies, Robo Rally, and Diplomacy from Hasbro, we also worked with existing community folks to run the World Championships, etc. They get support from us. We get the built-in community. It's a win-win. This is huge. Okay? This means, and he just said this, right? He says right here, Heroscape is following that pattern. Okay? So, they are announcing the starter press release as a way to build excitement. It's, I think, and then he says, then we'll go into details later. Right, so I think this is going to be initial, let it settle, it's coming back, get excited, tell your friends, let people know, let it simmer for a bit, and then we'll come with details. Because it sounds like, right, firm up contracts, whatever, sure, contacts. Also, at the end here, what he's saying is that they used the community to run the World Championships, right? And events like that. Well, wouldn't you know, we have lots of people involved in tournament directing. Specifically, we have, a few individuals that run ScapeCon. We even have a smaller ScapeCon-esque tournament or convention, Hexacon, that just happened this year. So I think it's very likely that they reach out and involve members of the community to do the same. I think this is awesome. They get support from us, and the built-in community gets a win-win. Yeah, I mean, well, and they get support from us. That could mean a lot of things. So, I mean, they've already said online community support. I think they also are probably going to lean into prize support. At the very least, they might provide, prize, material prizes, right? Expansion packs or whatever. But that also might mean actual support in running the events, right? So Mike and his dad, bless their hearts, man, have put in so much effort every year to run ScapeCon. Massive, massive endeavor, right? Now they've gotten a little bit of help with a few extra individuals, admins, if you will, and that's out of necessity, right? But it sounds like support is, not just in the realm of actually providing, giveaways, but I bet they'd also, provide actual, support in maybe doing, providing equipment for maybe live casting, or providing like an actual tournament directing staff, right? So that Mike doesn't have to do it all and he can actually play in the tournaments, right? I'm sure he'd like to play once in a while. Excuse me, sorry. So I think that's huge, right? Additionally, outside the World Championships, it's like I said, I think it's possible that they'll want to support other local tournaments and games as well. So I think there's a lot of hope there. Anase Morgan. So G Busy. Anase Morgan, he's one of the guys that he's also in the gosh, why is my brain not working? Renegade Games. He's one of the admins as well. And it just says here, I saw Mike reached out to you in regards to EscapeCon and future events. I run local regional events. What can tournament directors, event organizers expect in terms of support from Renegade and or Hasbro? So similar, on the similar vein that we were just talking about. Oh, did I might not have put this in order. Actually, I hope I got his answer. Give me a second. Oh. No, that's on oh, okay, I think. Oh, here we go. Okay, so clearly I'm out of order. Apologies. All right, so this will all come later. Okay, as we progress in the steps announcement. Okay, great. All right, well, there's your answer. Right, you were looking for something more specific. I apologize. So yeah, Nick answered this, but I think this actually comes up in the comment here on Facebook. So Anase Morgan was commenting on Facebook. Obviously, there's conversations going there as well. I know I should be all official about this, but personally, this is my favorite part of the press release. Additionally, Renegade will provide online community, organized play, blah, blah, blah. We read that. So I think that's really cool because Anase is basically, commenting to the Facebook team, like, as an admin, hey, this is my favorite part, right? World Championships, online community, right? Like, we're going to be involved in the community, providing support, providing, content for these events, which is huge. So yeah, I think this is great stuff. And yeah, and he's just confirming here it won't be any crowdfunding straight to market. And Scott Gaeta, guys recognize that name? During the press release, Scott Gaeta, that's that president of production and publishing, I think. So, kind of a big deal. Right? Kind of a big deal. That, again, he's just confirming here we won't be able to do any crowdfunding straight to market, which is awesome. Okay. Sorry, let's find my place again. Maybe, we'll see if I have any more out of order for you guys. Will this still be compatible with old Heroscape? A natural question. Yes, this is the same game. That came up out of the gates in Age of Annihilation, right? And out of the gates this time, which is huge. It's the same game. So, don't fret, all of you out there that were concerned. They're putting away the game. No, this is the same game, compatible through and through. Okay, so Renegade's typical. Okay, Ben, alright. Ben's whining, you guys. He's crying. He's letting me know he can't see the Discord. Fine. Let me pull it up and see if I can get the a new Discord link for you guys. Let's see. Hey, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? Is that how that saying goes? Okay, so I'm gonna post a new link. See if that one works. Again, I don't control how long it shows up or lasts for. Tigerdactyl, sounds like Renegade Games are actually going to do the revival right. A good start to build hype way before any launches. 100%. 100%. Here's what I love is, when Age of Annihilation was announced, they announced it and it built hype, but they're like, also we're launching. I think that they announced it, and I think it said it was a month later they launched. I can't exactly remember, or maybe it was a couple of weeks. I can't remember how much hype between the announcement and the launch, but they already had the launch set in stone. Like, they already hey, we're doing this the way we want it. And part of the issue with that is when you publicly announce it, you don't get the feedback from the community at large. and there was a ton of blowback. Like, on the card design, for example. People are like, what the? No. Like, just give us our original card design. Like, why are you messing with stuff, right? And so, like, there's just things like that the community is pretty opinionated about. And so, I think this is great. The fact that they don't have a launch set, that they're like, you know what, there's no launch. We're going to finalize stuff, but we just want to get hype, get feedback, let you guys, let's hear from you, and then build the launch. I think that's massive. Great idea. If no info this weekend, as stated, my guess is more info around Gen Con. Renegade usually has a large presence there. Yeah, it's possible. Gen Con's a few months away, right? So, yeah, absolutely possible. It's a natural time to do it. Yep. Pickle Soup. Heroscape is a phoenix, a cycle of death and rebirth. Oh, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. But it will not die again. Come on. All right. So let's get to this. So this is Nick just confirming their outline. Renegade's typical mode is this. Starter press release. Right, we covered this, but he's just kind of outlining it again. More info later. Even more info later. Repeat a few times. Announce actual viable products. Fourth-ish months later, release said products. So what's cool is that once they actually announce the products, then about 4 months later, it hits the shelves, which actually makes sense, right? Because, you've got to work with distributors and manufacturers and stuff and actually get it into game stores' shelves, right? So makes a lot of sense. And again, he's just confirming no crowdfunding here. That was very, very poignant. Like, all day today, no crowdfunding, don't worry, it's not crowdfunded. Don't worry, it's not crowdfunded, right? You hope you do better with character choices. They're missing the characters from across time. Yes, so that was actually also a huge thing that came up. I noticed as well, is people said, "Hey, you want suggestions? Give us historical minis. Give us historical minis." That's always. I mean, from the beginning trailer of Heroscape, right when they show, who is it? The samurai, right? The samurai, right? That was so cool, right? When they're showing the samurai fighting, and obviously they're pulling in other, fantastical beasts and stuff. But, they're showing Sergeant Drake, right, getting pulled in from World War II. They're showing the samurai getting pulled in. Just, yeah, absolutely, 100%. People are very vocal about that. One of the failures of Age of Annihilation. Does that guarantee we're getting it this time around? No. But, that is something that we've been very vocal about, right? And they run Axis and Allies. Like, I mean, they run the game Axis and Allies. It's a historical game. So, like, they've done it before. I mean, they can do it again. All right. Okay, so next comment here. So I did this one. Did I have a comment or a response to that one? Okay, yeah, there's a response to that one. I'm out of order again, guys. Sorry. So Dandelions, he says, I do think train packs are a big one, and so I did mention this earlier, and I agree with this comment. There will be a certain small contingent of fans, no matter what, that don't like stuff that isn't painted, aren't interested in updates to the game flavor, etc. But every Heroscape player is in the need of more terrain tiles eventually, because the plastic as the OG run is degrading over time, and a lot of tiles, especially water tiles, are quite brittle at this point. 100%. Terrain will never go away. The game can ebb and flow in terms of competitiveness. The characters could get horrible. Everyone could hate the game. Blah, 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 blah. What is timeless, in my opinion, more than anything else of the game, is honestly the terrain. I can melt down every single one of my miniatures, and I can still use that terrain. Why? Because I can just let my kids play with it and build cool maps and play with their, dolls and their trucks and they can make cool things and castles, right? If I play BattleTech, I can use it. If I play Dungeons and Dragons, I can use it. If I play other miniature games, I can use it. I can literally build my imagination with that game. I mean, there's literally some Heroscapers that, like, they would rather build a cool map that's massive and 20, master sets tall than actually play on it, right? Like, the cool thing about Heroscape is you're building your imagination, right? That's the timeless aspect of Heroscape. Now there's, I would say there's multiple aspects of it that make it timeless, right? It's kind of the cohesion of different aspects of the game that have made it so amazing. But what sets it apart than any other game out there is its terrain, 100%. Because think about it, every other game, Dungeons and Dragons, doesn't have terrain. Now, technically they have, like, terrain type things, right? Like, I think they have specific packs you can buy for like an inn, right? But they don't have like a base layer terrain. BattleTech, right? They have a playmat. There's just no miniature game like it that comes with terrain. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. And so what you have is you have a community that is starving for terrain, and I absolutely agree. Okay, a couple comments. Is this the same content as Age of Annihilation, as in the creatures models, etc., or is this a new wash? We just don't know yet. I covered that a little bit earlier, but yeah, we just don't know yet. Mark, I've seen so many lore builds online. They're just as cool as the comp map builds. Yeah, so it's Heroscape is just so full of lore, so full of imagination. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I love map building. Heroscape is a nice creative outlet. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's times I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm watching a show, or if I'm doing work, yeah, and I'm building a map, right? On the side, it's kind of therapeutic, it's virtualscape, you're just kind of building maps. Virtually, for me, anyway, is where I start. For many of you, maybe it's actually physically doing it, but there's just something very creative and therapeutic about doing that. Timeless aspect of Heroscape. So let's go to his comment. Okay, so this is the response from Nick. He says, as a fan and a player, I am very aware of this. I have communicated this to the product folks. So Nick also did during the comments today mention how he's an avid Heroscape player. He loves Heroscape. It's one of his favorite games. That's huge, right? The fact that we can hear that they are members of the community is massive. Someone on the inside that's part of the design team. Well, actually, I don't know if he's part of the design team, so I'll pause on that. But from someone who's involved in the Heroscape, revival or whatever, he's a fan, and he plays it. He's got it, right? He owns it. And he's communicated the terrain packs piece. Yoo-hoo! So we've got someone on our side. Okay. Has it been answered if Craig Van Ness will be involved? And Nick said it has not. This gets a little bit weird because, as I understand it, Craig was brought on to kind of bring Heroscape back with Avalon Hill, right? I don't know all the reasons. It's very possible he just wanted to come back and get involved with the company again and do other games as well. I imagine he's doing other games as well. I don't know that he was brought on only to do Heroscape. I imagine that was obviously a big part of it. So we can't confirm whether or not he's going to be involved this time around. Because, yeah, he kind of works for another company, right? Avalon Hill. Now, if it's a joint effort, if Avalon Hill is somehow still involved, I can see that being. Well, I'll say this: Heroscape has survived for 12 years without Craig Van Ness. Craig Van Ness is awesome, but the community is bigger than just one man, and I can't remember who said that on the Discord, so I'm stealing that quote. Someone keep me honest, and on the Discord, if you said that, please tell me. So I'm not stealing your quote, your thunder. But on the Discord, I remember seeing that, and I thought, wow, that's profound. The Heroscape community is bigger than just one man, because it's true. Like, the community has built itself for the last 12 years, and not against Craig, but without him, right? And so we can continue with him. Now, there was a few people on Discord that were like, oh, I'm not going to trust any product that doesn't have Craig Van Ness on it. Come on, you guys. Like, have a little bit more faith in people in general, right? I don't think we need Craig Van Ness for this to be successful. Now, would it be good? Absolutely, right? It's good to have the creator of the original game in our corner fighting for us. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to point that out. We don't know yet. We very well could. We don't know yet. So that's that. All right. I think, actually, I might have... Did I cover... Oh, I think... Yeah, because I was out of order on these. I think I covered everything. Oh, no, I've got one more? No, a couple more. All right, sweet. Okay. All right, so this is... See, Renegade has been doing some great work in the small communities like Access and Allies. They may be able to really do something here. They tend to stick with tradition, so I could see reprinting of old figures. I just hope they can figure out the pricing for pre-painted figures, though I'm a big advocate for painting our own. There's an undeniable advantage to have them. Yes. So Anais, remember we covered Anais. She's part of the team at Renegade. From our press release, fans will get experience classic elements of the game they love with all new content alongside the introduction of terrain packs. Okay, so we read that. So Anais is quoting... Excuse me. Anais is quoting... that part of the press release to this comment, which actually makes a lot of sense. I think the reason why I had said this earlier was because I had read this. That kind of alludes to the fact that they're probably going to have different offerings, right? You can buy an unpainted pack for $30. You can buy a pre-painted pack for $40 or something, right? So same packs, pre-painted versus unpainted, right? Same minis, same units, just right, pre-painted versus unpainted. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you think about it, I think what is it, Pathfinder or D&D does that. Can't remember what the product line is called, but there's I think D&D started doing that the last 5 years or so, where they actually had an unpainted miniature line for their product, which was huge, which was absolutely huge because it's a flexible way to sell to other people. Okay, so a few comments. The terrain sold me on the game when I was a kid. I wanted to go and I wanted and got the set for Christmas and never actually played a game for 6 years. I used it to build a toy. Okay, yeah. You used it as a build toy. Got it. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Tyler Cox, we're an Avalon Hill Den fans and players too. Yeah, some of them were not avid though. Hasbro sent Heroscape to Wizards of the Coast and Craig did not go with it. This may be similar to that or it may not. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Ben Harris, some of the best designs in all of Official Scape came from D&D waves after Craig was not in the room anymore. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I agree. The D&D waves, I love some of those designs. Absolutely. Yep. It doesn't have to have Craig Venice on it to be successful. Mark Doney, hey, everyone say hi to Mark. Hi, Mark. He's my cousin, my beloved cousin Mark. In fact, fun story for those of you listening. Mark gets all the credit for me playing this game. I'm gonna get emotional. Back in the day when I was a snappy 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. Gosh, I should think through what that is. He built a castle map for Thanksgiving. We were at Thanksgiving, and we play. I think I had Sergeant Drake, and it was I think I had Sergeant Drake assaulting the castle. I can't remember who was on the castle. I think it was my uncle with Deathwalker 9000 or something. Yeah, it was crazy, but he that's I remember that. That was a full day, all day long game, and that was the introduction to Heroscape, and it was amazing. It hooked me right away. So Mark gets all the credit, man, all the credit. All right, Tyler Cox. WizKids has an unpainted minis. Oh, okay, maybe it's WizKids, yeah. Only 2 per pack and know what you get. Boxes have painted, but you don't know what you get. Okay, yeah, that's true. The painted miniature line is, you're not sure what comes in the box. Fair point. Okay. Mark, thanks. You've done more than I could have imagined. Those memories are still so dear to me. Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, the memories and the nostalgia of Heroscape back when you were a kid. Yeah, it's unreal, right? I mean, it's just building blocks of a memory. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so anyway, this so Anthony, right? Great question. This is what people want to know. Are you going to reprint stuff? This is a really good question because it doesn't guarantee that you're going to see reprints, but it does allude to the fact that they're going to do their best to be flexible, right? Because there's just I feel like there's probably, I don't know, I don't want to say there's issues with, but there's probably hurdles or red tape that they're going to have to get through to produce past units. One of them I know for a fact from in Carmine, from the Age of Annihilation, was that they actually don't have the tooling for the miniatures. Like, you know, we're talking about 12-year-old tooling, right? Like, if you're going to a manufacturing plant and you're or wherever they, you know, build, you know, create these miniatures, usually you're not keeping tooling from 12 years ago, and if you are, it's probably broken and not working. And so, like, even if they want to go that route, I think it will have its own issues. And Ben seems to confirm that reprints are a problem. Yeah, so I mean, there's weirdness behind that from a business perspective, as well as like contracts and copyrights. Like, there's just stuff on the back end that doesn't make it that simple. So I don't know that they're going that route. Now, does that mean that they've closed the door to it? I don't think so. But anyway, comment from Ben. The tooling is gone and the quality of the minis was poor even then, and by today's standards, the sculpts would be unacceptably bad. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird problem to have, right? Because here's the thing. If you create Heroscape, the problem with the old Heroscape is that it will actually remain a collector's item. And so people getting into the new Heroscape, right? New Heroscape, will have a really hard time getting those old miniatures and figures and terrain. So I don't know how they plan to tackle that issue, right? Because if they're trying to tackle that issue, like, it's just going to be hard to get around. Like, okay, so if we create the old miniatures, do we upscale the minis so that they're higher detail and they're better? Or do we, I don't know, do we create new miniatures that are just alternate sculpts, right? So same card, but an alternate sculpt. I think there's options, but it just gets a little bit hairy. Ben, the reason why is that the sculpts were intended to support 3 or 4 color paint jobs, so they had to be super simple. Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. So the simpler paint jobs, simpler minis. Yeah. Okay. Do I have any other comments here? Okay. Yeah, that's the end, because this one actually was I had them out of order, so I apologize. But yeah, so we're done with comments there. So that's what I have prepared in terms of comments from the Discord, a couple from Facebook. We covered the announcement itself. We've spent a solid hour and 15 minutes, you know, spitting balls and theory-scaping and doing all the best we can to make assumptions based off of the announcement, we'll say. So more to come. I'll say that, right? This is day one. There's no launch, right? Like last time with Age of Annihilation, they had announced an actual launch, right, where they were saying, hey, everything's basically ready, we're just going to launch it and tell you guys what to expect. That's not really the case this time around, so don't imagine it the same way. Because, like, the product is going to just show up. What I mean by that is, like, they're gonna announce the product to buy, and so you'll probably be able to, like, pre-order it online. But remember that timeline of those bullet points I showed from Nick. He said that once they announce the buyable product, it's gonna be in market 4 months later. So, like, obviously they'll communicate to us, hey, you know, it's going out to market in the next couple weeks. You should. Hey, can someone confirm if I'm still live? My internet, like, briefly disconnected here. Can you guys still hear me? Are you guys still with me here? You guys, okay, it looks like chat's still going. You guys, okay, sweet. Thanks, Zachary. I was freaking out. I was like, oh no. Nothing's worse than getting the you've been disconnected, and it's like, what? I was like, okay, appreciate it. Thank you guys. So gosh, where was I? So basically, it's just going to be inherently different the way that this is done. So right, they've said, hey, it's back. But they're gonna be involving us in terms of gathering information, feedback, right? Like, we just don't have any detail on what to expect. But like he said, they're just gonna be feeding information for a really long time, right? And it's gonna get to the point when then they say, okay, here's the viable product, make your orders, right? Now my assumption will be that they're not just gonna be like, oh, hey, here's all the stuff you can buy, you've never seen it before. My assumption will be that they'll actually post, maybe cards or minis, so that again we can kind of get a sense of what we're buying into. But it's just going to feel different because it's going to hit the market. Like, it's back. It might take longer, right? It might actually take a full year before it actually goes to market. But like they've said, it's going to be in market, right? It's going to be in stores. So once it gets to that point, then you get to see the product again, which to me, it's like breaking my brain because I'm used to like Kickstarter products, right? Where it's like, oh, gotta, gotta provide, gotta crowdfund, and then, oh, we got it. So now we have to wait, and they're going to release new stuff if we raise this much money and all this stuff. Like, I'm just used to that. I've done Kickstarter a few times now. And, anyway, so here's my thought. Take a chill pill for a moment. We're all excited. Just let it sink in. Recognize that this is going to be different. And let's just be positive, right? I don't think we need to start fretting about them making all the same failures as Age of Annihilation, because the first failure that we saw in Age of Annihilation was the fact that it was crowdfunded. I mean, that was literally like what blew everyone's mind. Is we're like, we don't care. Like, we love Heroscape, we love the content, but you're making us have to raise money to bring it back, right? It's a condition. It's not a condition anymore. So I think we're free to feel however we feel because it's coming back. So I think we just be positive. We share the feedback to the team, the Renegade team, and we just take things as it comes. Right now, it's just kind of a sitting game. So I'll keep us updated as often as I can with any updates from the team. What we should do is probably get an idea of how often they're going to provide updates. In the past, remember, they did the launch and then they said, hey, every day we're doing updates until it's launched, right? Until it's passed. I can see this not being the case, right? They're working on this in the back end. Again, it's probably a year-long project, right? I mean, he said by the time that they actually announce a viable product, it's going to be 4 months. So, I mean, I think this is just kind of a, hey, it's happening, but it's going to be a little bit of a longer process. So, settle in, go out, get involved in Heroscape, go to your local tournament scene, get back into the game, teach your friends, let them know it's back. And, Taylor, oh gosh, Tater to board gaming. That's hard to, oh man, your name's throwing me off. Start saving money now, he says. I 100% agree. You're going to want to, because man, when they say pre-order now, the bank account's going to feel it. I can guarantee that. All right, let me just skim through some of the comments here, see if anyone's saying anything worth mentioning. Let's see. Avalon licensed it to Renegade because Avalon lost face with all the Heroscapers. Yeah, you could say that. Let's see. I cannot express how happy I am that this isn't being crowdfunded. Take as much time as you want, Renegade. I'm pumped. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agreed. Yes. I won't say any more on that. Yes. Incentive Harvest. Vampire Heroscape would be awesome in a dark city. I mean, we do have vampires. I mean, dark city type themed terrain? Yeah. I mean, any type of terrain would be sweet. In fact, like an Utgar castle Montefrey Manor. I think Montfrey Manor, I think is what it's called. I think that's Cyprin's. I think that's Cyprin's house or estate is Montfrey Manor, something like that. Anyway, specific locational terrain would be super sweet. Okay, AOE felt like a couple of juniors in high school put together a final project on market research and didn't really put the PowerPoint together. Well, we could bash AOA for a while. We're not here to do that, but yes, that's a fair assessment. All right, a couple more comments and then we'll kind of sign off here. Tiger Dactyl, no crowdfunding, that's a plus. Don't do things like Avalon did, like asking the fans if they like the different card designs, then backpedal to the OG designs. This was during the revival campaign. Yeah, no, 100% agreed. Yeah, so Renegade Games, I get the sense just based off of their comments that they're much more invested in the community feedback. And, you know, it's very possible that the failures of AOA will end up being a very positive thing for this revival because you learn from failure, right? I mean, that's literally how some of the greatest things in history have been done was from previous failures, right? I mean, some of the best, greatest inventions, you know, came from failures, right? So, the fact that AOA failed with Avalon Hill might end up being a really big stepping stone for the revival is the fact that, oh my gosh, here's a massively passionate community, and we messed up, but someone else can come along and pick up the pieces and do it right. And so, yeah, I agree with that. You know, something as simple as cards is, you know, something that they didn't anticipate, right? They made an assumption and didn't anticipate it. So I think Renegade has a good understanding of the community's needs, and obviously we have to let them know. So if on the Discord, 100%, you know, encourage you to go on that Discord and let them hear it. Not in a negative way, right? We're here to be positive. Let's bring back Heroscape, you guys. Let's go. So let them know how much we appreciate them and give good feedback on what we want, right? Let them know what our opinions are as far as bringing back the game we love. So, okay. I always wanted a big box of an Orc army and a Solborg army, like when we had a Swarm army. Yeah. I mean, I think it sounds like based off of the announcement, they're going to do factions. So I think we can expect that. Okay. And I'd prefer if it wasn't cross-compatible. Some of the point values are ridiculous in the original. That's an interesting take. You would prefer if it wasn't cross-compatible, the new Heroscape? I think that would be a pretty big fail. I think it would be dead on arrival if it wasn't compatible with the original. So I'll reserve commentary further on that. But no, let's keep in mind the original Heroscape is still a very, very good game. Very balanced. Obviously, it's not perfect. No game is, but anyway. Okay, Nobleman Nick, I know you really want that 2.0 Solon to show up. You know, who knows? Yeah, I really don't know. It very well could be the AOA doesn't come back at all, and they come at it from a different angle. But I don't know what kind of rights they have in terms of actual product. For example, maybe they do a Sonlin 2.0, but it just is a different card. Like, I don't know, right? It's very possible that they do similar designs to AOA, but they can't do the exact one because of copyright or something. You know, I don't know I don't know what that looks like in terms of, you know, the back end and, you know, contracts and legal stuff. So I'll hold off commentary further on that because we just don't know. Okay, well, it's getting late over here at 10 o'clock. I know I've spent an hour and a half with you guys, more than enough time to cover lots of speculation, some hype, well, lots of hype, I'll be honest. I'm super hyped. And you know, we just don't know on a lot of this stuff. So The best we can do is get involved on the Discord, right? Keep updated on Facebook page because they're going to be putting updates on Facebook, on Discord. Get those newsletters. I would subscribe to that newsletter on the announcement page that they said here. And yeah, just get involved in the community again. Honestly, the biggest thing you can do is just get on the Discord and get involved in the community, because that number goes up and up and up when they see Discord users and they see comments on the Heroscape thread and the Heroscape page by unique users. They look at that. That's a data analytics thing. If they say, hey, we announced Heroscape and within the first day we had 5,000 new users or whatever on the Heroscape forum, great. That tells them there's people interested, right? Similarly, right, if you're getting involved in your local communities, your local tournaments, right, and you're going out for the next year and participating with friends, family, whoever in the game itself, as it stands now, then naturally it's going to be a lot easier for you to continue on playing this game when it gets released, and getting those people you've brought along with you to get involved in the new game once it's released. Because remember, from today until the time when the product is purchasable for pre-order, there's a very large window of time. And so that's time to, one, save money, but two, to kind of spread the word and get people back into the game. So that when it's announced to buy that product, it's natural and easy for people to support it. And the truth is like, just like any business, even though it's not crowdfunded, like if no one buys a product, might only be around for a little while, right? So it is still, just because it's not crowdfunded doesn't mean it doesn't have to be bought, right? Like, I mean, the business still has to make money. So there has to be a strong player base and a growing player base that can support it. So part of that is on us to keep the community strong and going during this time until the product line actually hits the stores. So. Okay, you guys. Well, that's it for me. Great comments. Love talking to you guys and seeing your comments and your questions are good. I'm gonna try and keep as updated on this as possible and do some more live streams or just quick updates based on how much I see from updates from the Renegade team. But again, subscribe to the Discord yourself if that's easier or more convenient. Regardless. So, all right, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.